Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're not just solving a few math problems. We are crafting a full-on battle plan for one of the biggest challenges out there for young mathematicians, the AMC 8. This isn't just about formulas anymore, it's about strategy.
Yeah, this really is the final boss fight, where your strategy, your game plan, is just as crucial as knowing your geometry or number theory.
So let's break down the core challenge. It's pretty simple, but it's intense. You've got 40 minutes on the clock to tackle 25 problems. That's just 96 seconds per question. But here's the real catch. They are definitely not all created equal.
So, how do you conquer this arena? Well, you've got to understand the battlefield. And that means you need a plan that adapts, one that breaks the whole test down into 3 distinct phases.
And you can see it right here. The problems aren't flat. They ramp up big time. The first 10 or so are your warm-up. Problems 11 through 20, that's the main workout. And those final 5, yep, that's the boss fight. Your strategy has to change as you move through each of these sections.
All right, let's dive into that first phase, the opening sprint. And listen, this part is not a marathon. At the very beginning, you're all about building your most valuable weapon, and that's time. Your goal for these first 12 questions, get them done in under a minute each. These are the problems you've practiced, the ones that test the stuff you know cold. Solve them fast, solve them right, and bank that time. Every second you save here is like putting money in the bank for later. But what happens after that opening sprint? Okay, this is where your most powerful weapon comes into play. And it's probably not what you think. It's not some crazy complex formula. It's actually a concept from the medical world, something they use in emergency rooms every single day. It's called triage. So, in the AMC 8 arena, triage is all about knowing which battles to fight right now, which ones to circle back to later, and yeah, maybe even which ones to skip entirely. It's not about being a hero on every single problem. It's about maximizing your score, period.
And this is what that looks like in practice. This turns that big idea of triage into a real, concrete battle plan. You're not just looking at one 40-minute block anymore. No, you're doing 3 passes. That first 15-minute pass, you're just grabbing all the easy points, building up that score and your confidence. The second pass, that's for the trickier workout problems. And that final 10-minute stretch, that's your final stand. You go after a big boss problem or you double-check your work to catch any silly mistakes.
Okay, so what happens when you're in that second pass and you just hit a wall? You've picked a problem you think you can solve, but it's just not clicking. Do you give up? No way.
You absolutely do not guess randomly. I mean, that's a 1 in 5 shot, right? Instead, you turn the tables. You start attacking the answer choices themselves with pure logic.
This isn't just a shot in the dark. It's a system. You immediately get rid of any impossible answers. Like, if you're solving for the length of a side, can the answer be negative? Of course not. Out it goes. And you've got to watch out for what we call calculated bait. Those answers that look right because they come from a super common mistake, like forgetting to divide the area of a triangle by 2. If you can knock out just 2 or 3 choices, suddenly your 1 in 5 shot becomes a coin flip. Much better odds.
All right, now you're going to see problems that look like absolute monsters. They are designed to look like huge, time-sucking calculation traps. They want you to get stuck, but they're actually a test of a totally different skill.
And this is a perfect example. The units digits for powers of 3 just repeat over and over in a simple cycle. 3, 9, 7, 1. 3, 9, 7, 1. See? You don't need to calculate 3 to the 2024th power. You just need to figure out where 2024 falls in that 4-step dance. The answer isn't in brute force calculation, it's in seeing the beautiful simple pattern hidden underneath.
And all of this leads to the climax of the test, the final 5, the boss fight. These problems are put there for one reason, to separate the great scores from the truly elite ones.
So here's the deal. When you get to this section, your whole mindset has to change. You are not, I repeat, not expected to solve all of them. The game here is to pick 1, maybe 2, that look like they play to your strengths, and then you give them everything you've got.
And that's because these questions aren't just about one thing. The key is synthesis. They're designed to weave together multiple skills. They might force you to use a geometry trick to solve an algebra problem, or combine number theory with probability.
Just look at the breakdown of a typical boss problem. To even get started, you might need to combine ratios, which was maybe something you learned way back in week 1. But then you have to turn that into a linear equation, a skill from week 2, and then solve it, and then substitute it back. It's a whole journey, forcing you to pull tools from all over your mathematical toolbox.
And please, please remember this. Getting even one of these final 5 right is a massive victory. Seriously, don't let these problems get you down or make you feel demoralized. Every time you wrestle with one, even if you don't get the final answer, you're building that critical problem-solving muscle. That's a win in itself.
So, with all these strategies in your back pocket, you're not just a test taker anymore. You're not just walking in to solve some math problems. You are a competitor. You've got a game plan, you know the terrain, you know when to sprint, when to use triage, and when it's time to stand and fight the big bosses. So the only question left is the one you see right here. Are you ready to enter the arena?